Hi everybody, I'm Spike Brave, and I'm here today to give you a look at the missile weapons that are available to Clan BattleMechs in Mechwarrior Online. If you've been watching my channel recently, I've been going through all the weapons available to both Intersphere and Clan Mechs, and this will be my last entry because all I have left are these Clan missile systems. I'd like to start out this video by talking about what I normally talk about, and that's how to use your aiming reticule. So in the center of the screen there, you'll see a plus, or I'm sorry, an X, and then an ellipse or a rectangle there in the center. Where the X are where my torso mounted weapons are pointed, and the ellipse is where my arm mounted weapons are pointed. So you can see that if I look up, now my arm mounted weapons are pointed all the way up at the sky, and my torso mounted weapons are pointed where that plus is located. So if I move up and down, that's where my arms are, up and then down. And then I can also move side to side. So you can see that my arm weapons move, and then my torso mounted weapons catch up. So if I go all the way over, now you can see that there's some divergence. So if I were to have some arm mounted weapons, right now I could be firing them at that commando. And my direct fire torso weapons would fire straight out in front of me. So you can kind of see that amount of divergence there. As you can tell, I can go up and down and then side to side. The side to side movement is provided by your lower arm actuators. This is especially important in Clan Mechs because you can equip and unequip them. As you can see, I don't have a lot of divergence between those two. What this mech has is only one lower arm actuator in one arm, so I don't have a full range of motion. I have my other mech set up with the both actuators, so we can see the difference between those there. This is especially important with the missile weapons, because what I can do is lock onto my target. So we've got that commando targeted, so I can lock onto him by just using my arms. And you can see the first weapon I have selected down there on the bottom is my Clan LRM-20. So if I fire that, it'll come out of my torso, but it'll use this lock I've gotten from my arms. That can provide you advantage when using cover and such, so I wanted to explain that difference. So what I'll do is I'll show you how that Clan weapon fires, and we'll take a look at what the LRM-20 does here, and you'll see it come out of my chest, and then go over to my locked-on target. And that was the medium pulse laser. Let's fire that LRM-20. Now, as you can see, these are quite a bit different than the inner sphere LRMs. Rather than getting a cloud, I get more of a stream of missiles. That's something to be aware of with the function difference. It's a lot easier for enemy anti-missile systems to shoot down that stream of missiles. So keep that in mind when you're shooting those, that they're more vulnerable to anti-missile systems because of that. Now, something else that's a little bit different than the LRM, the inner sphere LRMs, if you've used those weapons or have seen my tutorial on that, is you can see that they have the 1,000-meter range, just like the inner sphere LRMs, and when they reach that range, they'll just harmlessly explode. But Clan LRMs also work up close. Now, the inner sphere LRMs have this 180-meter dead zone where they don't work, they'll just bounce off. Clan LRMs will always explode when they hit their target, but the closer you get, the less damage they do until you're right on top of them, and then those missiles are hardly doing any damage. So keep that in mind. Just because you can hit them and do some damage, that it may not be worth the ammo to shoot at something that's extremely close to you. So since we've seen that LRM-20, let's fire the LRM-15, get our lock back on. Now my missiles are guided, and I can just shoot them at it. Gotta get my buttons straight. Sorry about that, folks. So let's shoot that LRM-15. So as you can see, another stream of missiles, and they kind of hit them all over. They're semi-guided. They'll hone in on the target, but depending on my location to the target, we may get more on one side. So let's go over here a little bit, and we'll see if we can start hitting his right side a bit more. So I'll come up over here. And we'll aim at him from this side. So let's shoot that LRM-5 and we'll see how that goes. Smaller stream of missiles, and as you can see, they're kind of hitting him on the left side a little bit more now. And then finally the LRM-10. So that's been a look at how those work, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick on the cicada for a while, and I'm going to get really, really close to him, And what we'll see here is, so we've got the LRM-20. That's quite a bit of damage. That's a lot of damage. I'll even get behind him here. And I'll pump all of those LRMs right into his back here at extremely close range. I'm touching him at this point. So yeah, that was a full salvo of a LRM-20, and it turned his armor yellow. But if I back off now, and we'll get out of that 180 meter zone where they start doing less damage. Alrighty, we'll stop. And we'll shoot that LRM-15, which is actually less missiles, but we'll actually see a better result when they hit. So you can see that did quite a bit more damage. So keep that in mind when you're firing these. That if you do get up close, you can still shoot them, but they won't do as much damage. So just keep that in mind, folks. It's something I really wanted to go over quite a bit of detail. And something that I didn't include in my inner sphere tutorial was that you don't have to have a lock to fire your LRMs. This applies to both the clan and inner sphere systems. I didn't mention it in that other video, so I wanted to take a moment to talk about that. As you can see, I've got my LRM-5 ready to fire in my chain fire mode, and what will happen is they'll actually go where I aim them. So as you can see, I've got the catapult targeted but not locked onto. So what I can do is I can shoot them, and they'll actually hit where I'm aiming, which is on him. And then we'll shoot to 10 as well. So as you can see, that's effective. Works really great when I'm standing here and I have a dummy target that's not going to move. The reality of that situation is he'll probably get out of the way, but if you get behind somebody or somebody's not aware that you're there, or they're shut down and you can't get a lock, or they have ECM and they're just standing there looking at you going, haha, I've got ECM and you can't shoot me, hey, go ahead and let them have it. They'll get there. It's not quite as effective. You can see some are missing, but you can still put LRMs on target. And the other thing I've seen people have problems with these clan LRMs is that they, as you can tell, they kind of come out in a straight line first. And if you get yourself at a good enough angle when you're up close, you can actually miss your target. I'm going to see if I can get that going on. So as you can see, I was locked onto him, but I missed. So keep that in mind if you get up on a clan mech with LRMs. Try to turn away from him, because as you can see, I'm not getting very many missiles on him. I'm locked on. Got a good solid lock. Oh, that time I got him pretty good. Oh, no, still missed with some. So that's something important to keep in mind on those. I actually watched a match in which a commando got on top of Masakari, or Warhawk. Masakari is the inner sphere name for that. But he actually ran the Warhawk out of missiles. He got into the perfect turning speed that the Masakari could keep up with him, but not quite get the missiles on him, so he was able to actually empty his ammo bins as this guy was trying to hit him. So keep that in mind as well. And then the final thing is, some players, depending on ping or some other things, I'm not quite sure, I haven't experienced this problem a whole lot myself, experience a slight delay between when the lock-on occurs and when they actually have a solid lock on the target the missiles will track. As you can tell, when I lock on, I get that red circle. In some cases, I've seen it where you get the red circle, but you're not locked on yet. What you want to listen for is that chiming sound to complete. So I'll get off him, and we'll let you listen to that sound. Now, the visual cue and the audio cue lined up for me, and they usually do, but occasionally I've seen players where that doesn't quite line up. So keep that in mind. Listen for the sound to complete. Don't trust that visual cue. Listen for the sound. So that's been a talk about these long-range missiles and how they work and some of the things you can do with them. And of course, the other really important thing that you can do with them is, as long as you have a lock, so I have a lock. If I move off, see how I've maintained it for just a moment before I lost it? You can use that to your advantage. Let's say I'm trying to fight this catapult and Atlas at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit better angle. Okay, I've got a lock on the Atlas. I'm going to fire my LRMs at the Atlas. Now I'm going to move, shoot him, and then move back. If you can maintain that lock, you can actually keep two targets busy. So again, we can shoot, and as long as I can maintain that lock, I can come off that target and engage two targets at once while keeping that Atlas suppressed with those LRMs and then shooting with those medium pulse lasers to keep the guy who's closer away from me. So that's also an important feature of LRMs. You don't lose that lock right away. So let's say I was right here, and I've got a lock on this atlas, and there's this hill. What I can do is, oops, gotta maintain some line of sight there. What I could do is, if I wanted to make sure I was going to miss that hill, I could look up real fast and shoot my missiles. So miss that hill, get my lock. Oh, didn't do it fast enough. So miss the hill and keep that lock, so I can get over that hill, keep the lock. So that's also a way you can use those missiles from behind cover and get them to clear the cover. Let's see if I can move over enough to actually strike that terrain feature. For a better example. So I can see him, but I might hit that hill with my missiles. Can't get a good enough angle playing by myself to keep line of sight and lock on him. What I would have really liked to do is come over here, where I'm gonna have some significant issues and not be able to get through this hill. But I could do that if I had a friendly that was maintaining that lock. I could look up over that hill real quick and then drop back down before I lost my lock and keep my missiles on target. So keep that in mind as using these LRMs. That's another feature that can help you use them a little bit more efficiently. So now that we're done, let's jump out and we'll take a look at a different Stormcrow with short-range missile systems, or SRMs, in it. One feature I do like to talk about and let people know is available is this testing grounds. If you want to see how your mech's weapons perform, you see a lot of people accidentally shooting each other at the beginning of the match saying, I was testing my weapons. Well, come on here to the testing grounds real quick. That'll prevent those friendly fire incidents. You'll be familiar with how your mech handles a little bit. So let's pick, let's take a look here. Let's pick this Stormcrow, because he has the short-range missile systems that are available to the clans. Now, as you can see, let's go back to my prime for a second. See, he's got a hand on this arm. I kind of did that for the visual cue that he had a hand and a lower arm actuator. And on this, you can see that those slots are empty. So you can see that little empty place. It's not empty over here. So that's your lower arm actuators. And if we look at this other Stormcrow, you can see that he's got both. And I'll show you the difference in divergence between his two targeting reticules once we get in there. So if you want to use the testing grounds, come out here, click on testing grounds. You can pick any map you'd like, hit random, and it'll drop in a random map. So I'm testing out how my weapons are grouped and how they function and fire. I'll go to Forest Colony because that commando's right in front of you. You don't have to go very far. If you're looking to see how they perform under a heat load, I recommend Terra Therma. It's the hottest map, and you'll get a good feel for how your mech handles heat. So let's jump out here and we'll take a look at these short-range missile systems that are available to the Clan mechs. Alrighty, so let's target that commando again. Now, short-range missiles work by just firing a group of missiles. You'll get us a little bit of a spread, so not quite direct fire, but you can kind of aim them in a general direction. Let's say I want to hit him in the right side. I can fire my SRMs and get a group kind of on his right side, but it's not pinpoint. Just keep that in mind. So the first thing we've got selected here is the NARC system. And this provides a bonus to friendly missiles that are going to lock on and track him. They make him track better. So let's fire that NARC and see what happens. So we'll shoot the NARC. And as you can see, he gets this little indicator over him that looks like a circle with some lines above it. This lets everybody know that he's NARCed. So your friendly units can see this, hopefully target him, get some LRMs on him. And enemy units can see this and tell him he's NARCed. That's really important. There's no indicator to let you know that you are NARCed. Only other people can see it. So if you get NARCed, you won't know unless someone tells you. So do a favor to your teammates. If you see them get NARCed, let them know so that they can get away from that NARC. And as you can see, the symbol's gone away. The NARC's now over. He's no longer under that the effects of it. So he's back to just being tracked normally by LRMs. So let's fire that SRM too, and we'll get a little bit of spread. No, that was actually pretty tight, so got him in the torso there. Let's fire the 4. We'll get 4 missiles this time. Now you can see those really spread. I hit them all over. And then, of course, the SRM-6. As you can see there, I was aiming at his chest and got some at an upward angle. And to reduce that spread, all you need to do is get a little bit closer. Oh, that was an arc. We'll get a little bit closer. The SRM-2, 4, and then the 6. So you can see that spread tightened up quite a bit as I got closer to him. So that's been a look at the SRMs. Don't need a lock. They just fire straight out. And of course they have a 270 meter range. So let's go pick on that cicada. See, he's out at 300 meters about. If I shoot my SRMs, I'll zoom in so you can see them. They'll actually explode before they get to him. And that was an arc. See, those SRMs exploded in front of them. It's exactly what will happen with your LRMs. It's just hard to show that in a single player tutorial. So yeah, if I shoot my other missiles, see they're exploding before they get to him. But if I move up a little bit, get it within that 270 meter range, there we go. Hitting him just fine. So that's all there is to SRMs. Nothing real special here. They just fire. So let's hop out again. And the next thing that we'll look at are the streak SRMs. Unlike Inner Sphere BattleMechs, Clan SRMs have all 3 racks available. So there's an SRM-2, 4, and 6 in the streak variant. And the streak variant works by locking onto your target. So they work a lot like the LRMs, where you can get a lock and shoot them. And they're not necessarily guaranteed to hit your target, but they probably will. And you can fire and forget once they fired when they're locked. If you actually lose your lock, they'll continue on to target and strike it. So let's take these lasers off real quick and put these on chain fire. So first thing we'll do is the streak. Now what is different about the streaks, they have a little bit longer range than your regular SRMs, but you do have to have a lock. So what we'll do is we'll shoot the streaks. You can see I get 2 missiles, and what's also different about those streaks is those missile strikes are random. So I'm going to fire that SRM-4, the streak SRM-4. You see the missiles kind of go wherever they want. They're going to hit, but you can't really control where they go. I don't like the streak system because of that. I don't know how many times I've been in a mech that's equipped with a streak. I have an enemy who has a weak point, and I can't take advantage of it because I can't get the streaks to go where I want them to. So let's take a look at that streak SRM-6. There you go. You can see they just kind of randomly hit all over. And they do have a little bit greater range than your regular SRMs. So let's show you how they might fail. So what could happen is I have a lock on him, and if I come around this hill, oh, I'm hitting the hill instead of him. They're trying to get to him, but they're going to take the most direct path, and that happened to be through that hill in this instance. The other thing you need to be aware of, if I've got a buddy who's helping me fight this commando, and he gets in between me and the commando, the streaks don't know any better, so they will strike a friendly target if they're in that direct path like that hill was. And again, if you don't have a lock, you can't fire these. So I'm going to come up here. Oop, let's target the commando. That way I can't target the cicada. And what you'll hear is, if you can't fire your streak, is you'll hear a grinding type noise. So I'll fire them. Try to fire them now. See, I'm getting that. Nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. The really important thing to keep in mind with this, if you have a missile boat mech that's just equipped with streaks, and you get in a fight with something with ECM, you won't be able to shoot at all. So keep that in mind. That is another huge drawback in the system, is that if you can't get a lock, you can't shoot. So it can be a little bit dangerous if you get into a fight at close range with an ECM mech, because you won't be able to hit him. So that's been a look at the streak systems. So let's go take a look at a mech that has the upgrade of Artemis. Artemis is an infrared system that paints the mech with a laser that provides lock-on time bonus and a tracking bonus to the strength of your missiles. So we'll come out here to the mech lab again, and I have Artemis on my adder. So we'll go light, filter that by light, find my adder, and we'll jump out to the testing grounds in that. The Artemis system is far more noticeable in the inner sphere mechs because they fire that cloud of LRMs and you get a tighter group. Not quite as noticeable on this. So, as I said, I have to be able to see them. So I can see them. We'll get a lock with those LRMs and we'll shoot an LRM 15 at them and we'll see what happens. Now you can see it's more of a straighter line and I'm getting more right onto his center torso. So it does make him a little bit more effective, but again, very vulnerable to AMS, and even more so now that I'm getting that tighter straight line. And then we'll fire our SRM-6 that has Artemis on it. See, I'm getting a better grouping. I'm still getting a couple missiles that were out to the sides, but we'll fire again. See, I'm getting a way tighter group. It can make your SRMs way more effective. This system does not impact the streak system. And again, you have to be able to see them. So if I'm getting in a fight with this cicada over here, and somebody's providing me targeting information, and I'm down behind this hill, that tree. If I'm down behind this hill and cicada's over there, I can still lock onto him and shoot my LRMs, but I will not get the benefit of that Artemis system. So let's take a look at it at a little bit longer range. And we'll fire the 15. There we go. See, nice tight line or group there. Most of them on a center torso. And then let's get within 270 meters and shoot that SRM-6. Still a fairly tight group, getting his legs and whatever, but if I get right on top of him, I bet you I can put them all right on the center torso. A little bit of spread. Looks like one got his leg. Let's get him from behind too. Yeah, we'll shoot. All in one spot right there on his back. Strip his armor off. And if you get close enough with regular SRMs, you'll still get a pretty tight group, but that does help you out a little bit with that. We'll show you that one more time. So, yeah, pretty tight group. So that's been a look at these missile weapon systems. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please subscribe to my channel. If you have some questions, I have a bunch of tutorials and a look at every other weapon in the game as well on my channel. So please check out anything that you need some help with. And of course, if you have a suggestion or would like to see a specific tutorial or example of things, leave me a note in the comments below and I will either answer your question or make a new video to show you what you need. Hope you have great luck on the battlefield, and I hope to see you there.